Hello there and welcome to the Antlered Crown. I am Elwyn and this is a reading for air signs for the month of May. This is how I'm going to be doing the readings from now on. They're going to be monthly readings, but they'll be a little bit more in depth as in specific to each zodiac rather than just its elemental dominion. Now, so firstly, I need to tell you that you can find me on Instagram, TikTok and YouTube, where I go live Wednesdays and Fridays at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can purchase a private reading off of my Etsy or schedule a virtual consultation with me via Square. I also have a podcast, The Antlered Crown, where me and my beautiful wife both discuss all things witchcraft related, spirit related, paranormal related, and we have a drink and a laugh too. It's good fun. Now, what else do I need to tell you? Well, it's listed with all the other podcasts. You can find it there. I have links underneath in the description for everything, including my Patreon too. Right. So first, let's have a look into general for air. Okay, so just for things that may be happening, some advice just in general for air signs. So as in air signs, if you're a Gemini, a Libra, an Aquarius, this is for you. Okay, just throw them, catch them, throw them and catch them. That's a trick. It was deliberate. It was deliberate. Now, let's have a look. Oh, so in general, air signs, many of you may be feeling as though there is a form of solitude here. The moon, in this instance, very different from a lot of other moon cards. Okay, there's not the two wolves, there's not the lobster, and all that stuff. This here is more to do with chosen solitude rather than kind of cast out or just due to stuff that's been happening. But chosen solitude, time to reflect, time to evolve. This card is supposed to be judgment, but as you can see here, there's plenty of spreading the wings, showing colours. Okay, and so therefore it's almost the free of judgment to... Door just slammed. No one's here. To be free, that happens a lot. To be free of judgment. To be completely embrace who you are evolving into, the metamorphosis. Okay. What does this metamorphosis, why would it benefit you? Obviously, being true to yourself. When you are true to yourself, there are things that happen, things that seem to happen better because you're not denying aspects of the self while trying to accomplish something that may not even be what you truly want. When you know the self, when you embrace and love the self, manifestation, the magician is manifestation, to conjure, to, well, manifest these things into being, to actively go out and make things happen, can happen a lot easier. Okay? Picnics. I don't know why I said that. Something about that card just said picnics, and I didn't mean to say it out loud, but there you are. If you are going for a picnic, Penny, go lay down. That's my dog. She clicks. If you are going for a picnic, if you're going out, enjoying the sun, enjoying life by yourself in this solitary kind of way, this is one of the things, is when you know that you're comfortable with who you are, by doing activities purely by yourself that you may not do otherwise. In other words, go and pack yourself some nice bits, some tasty treats. Go and find a nice patch of sand or grass or rock or whatever. Put down a blanket and enjoy it. Just by yourself. Enjoy it just by yourself. Why not? Feel comfortable in that solitude. You don't need other people to come in order to facilitate, in order to do things and enjoy your own company. Now, in the way of this, when it comes to the manifestation, there is a very strong message, a very strong energy when it comes to earning money, success, and also there are fears of this, some fears of something that may not come to fruition. That's entirely up to you. And usually, we aren't in control exactly of certain aspects, but there are things that we can do to help. And here, everything that you may be going through is there to help you completely. Now, that is the general for air signs. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the more specifics. So, before I begin, I need to let you know something. We're going to narrow down each zodiac, but they are time-stamped, okay? So, in the description below, you will find the timestamp next to your specific zodiac. So you don't have to sit through all of it if you're the last one there or whatever, you can't find it. So, let's give these a shuffle for Gemini. Yes. What are we doing here? Excuse the noise. What are we doing here for Gemini? What's going on? What do you need to know in the way of career and work? Okay. Now, the first thing I get before I even put down some cards for some of you, this I think is just a message more than anything, is that there may be this form of break. Okay. There may be this form of putting something off, but almost as though you put it off because you know that right now I can't handle it. I can't deal with that. And I've had enough. I don't need to give anyone an excuse. I don't want to do that right now because I know my limit and I'm pushing myself too much. There's that feeling, okay? That feeling of basically, I'm going to do what I want to do right now and it's completely guilt-free. That's a great thing to have because that's your mind and your body telling you that you've had enough and you need to rest. Let's deal for career for Gemini. Oh, this is very much of what I've just said. But I'll repeat, but with more sort of in-depth aspects to this now. We've got the cards here as well. Material wants, material needs, things that we go after. The devil is not necessarily bad in that aspect at all. It just reminds us that we are human and we need things in order to live comfortably. And there's no shame in living comfortably. However, the pursuit of these things here in this instance, the Ten of Swords, the swords impaled in the back of this individual. This is the burden and the pain and the tired energy that you have because of the pursuit after these. So that's kind of like the aspect of you're tired, okay? You may have been beforehand pushing through, grinding through, and just like the promise of what? The promise of what? Of something better. The promise of a payoff. The promise of something that gives a levity, a freedom. Yeah. This is why I say that energy that you may have all of a sudden that comes up for you, Geminis, that energy of screw it. Like, I don't care what people think right now. There is that solitary thing for the general as well. And I think that that kind of mindset of screw it is your body telling you that, you know what, I'm sick of bending over backwards. I'm sick of twisting myself into knots to fit other people, to get something in the way of, like, to get deadlines done, to pay bills, to do these things. You may have been sick, because it's going around as well. I have been. But that's also one of those things that makes you feel like you've had enough. No matter how sick you are, sometimes you want to just keep going. But when you're already tired, you don't want to. You're like, you know what? What's more important? My health, my happiness, my well-being, or this kind of image that I have projected to people that I can manage these things. It's okay to say, you know what? I can't deal with this right now. I can't deal with that crap. I can't. And someone else is just going to have to just take over for a minute while I sort things out, career-wise, okay? And this is what this card is. This is the Eight of Cups. This is this sort of walking away, in a way. This is like, you know what, this all here, it's my journey. Okay, this is my journey. I'm wasting my time on something here, and I need to sort of just walk away from it, take a break, come back to it. This always reminds me of Lego. When I was a kid, I hated Lego. I loved it, would never stop playing with it, but I also hated it because, like many of us did, we would like be on the carpet at home. And I remember being very young on a carpet. When you would try and press Lego down on one piece, because it wasn't really like level on the carpet, the other end would pop up, you know, and it's like, that always reminds me of it. Like trying to stack these cups and it keeps falling over and you're just like, you know what, I got to walk away and take a breath. Otherwise, you know, I'm just going to lose it. And this is fine. This is your body and your mind and your spirit telling you these things. They're being like, you know, you have to do what you have to do here. You know, it's not running away in that sense. There shouldn't be any guilt for it. It's just, I need to take a break because otherwise I'm going to be no good for anyone for a long time. Okay? That's one of the things for you, Geminis. There's more, I feel. Okay. Now, so as I said, there is more here. What is it? Well, some of you may have found success in something. You may have found success that has made you a lot more comfortable than you were originally if you look back a year or so ago, or even maybe longer, 5 years max, okay? That sort of thing. Now, victory here, this is the accomplishment. This is all the things. These here, this kind of represents the failures. Now, failures is, you know, but they are being thrown down, and there is the one here where it is victorious. This one thing that has happened to choosing the right path almost. Okay. The comfort here comes from the King of Cups. This represents yourself. This represents where you are, how you may be feeling. You may be feeling like, I can take a break. I can breathe right now. It's great. Everything's good. Don't breathe too soon, because this here is forms of boredom. You have to keep the momentum going, okay? You have to keep the momentum going, because otherwise your resources and things that have built up, they will slowly start to deplete over the month. Okay, which will create problems and a little bit of panic, like, oh, hang on a minute, where did, like, I don't know, that little bit of extra cash that you've been saving, where did that all of a sudden go? Or even in terms of work, a position that you've kind of got very comfortable in, and you may have got a bit laxed about something. Where did that go all of a sudden? And the panic can start confrontations with others around you in a work environment or even family environment. So that's one of the other things to look out for there, Gemini. Don't kind of get too comfort to the point where you forget to maintain what you have and what you may have accomplished. Okay? Be a bit frosty. Now, I'm going to leave these here because they're there. That's done. We're going to look at love for Gemini. Ooh. Okay, firstly, this is much more kind of honed in specifically for some of you. Now, when I say some of you, people who may be watching, it may even be one of you, because this is a very specific thing. There is something to do with love here and a lover or partner who is jealous. They are a little bit controlling. Now, let's break this down to what we have here. The Emperor, in this sense, is wisdom. It is kind of the watchfulness, the guardianship of such things. Okay, this is your sort of energy. You have that free sort of energy, that energy that may want to like take control of things, start making things, making plans, doing things. But at the same time, you also have that which is common. Is this? It's celebration. The Three of Cups is friendships, things like this. And it's almost like someone going out, having fun with their friends or doing something like that. Yet this here, there is the love aspect. Now, this would not be so bad if it wasn't for the King of Wands also. Someone is an overthinker and they get a little bit possessive due to their own insecurities in this instance. Okay, and they may be acting a bit odd. Now, before we go and condemn this person, because let's have a look why and certain things. This person has a specific way of doing things. They have ideas, and when these ideas, in this controlling nature which they put on themselves as well, when things that they are trying to accomplish do not go to plan, they panic, and then their mind races wild because there are certain like unseen variables that are happening and they don't like it. Okay, now this can cause this person to retreat, especially when it comes to perhaps material aspects. They get very materialistic and they may reduce a relationship down to materialistic levels because it is easier for them to contend with. Okay? This is something that they may have said they are working on. This is something that they are trying to perhaps fix, yet it is difficult. It is overwhelming. There is still a lot of healing there. All right. Be mindful of this in this month. Okay. There is compromise here and there is peace. This person is damaged in ways. This person is traumatized in some way. Their own insecurities peek through occasionally. Okay. And they, as much as they may seem they have a handle on it, sometimes they do not. And you are not responsible for this. Okay. It is not your fault. There is no guilt here to have. But at the same time, you cannot help this person heal for them. This is something they must do. Communication in this way, kind of the love language between two people specifically here, is very different. And therefore, sometimes they may need physical reassurance or verbal reassurance where you have the opposite. Being mindful of each other's love language is a fantastic way to start. It is a fantastic way to begin healing with that kind of foundation, because the communication between these two things, to talk about those sort of things here, what people feel, what they are trying to deal personally apart from a couple or relationship, is always still going on. And people don't talk about it. They usually just talk about the things they're trying to do together. And So talking about what you're trying to do separately and then just listening to each other, not trying to come up with a solution, because it seems this person would try and come up with a solution, but just listen. Okay. Now that's very specific, I know, but I feel that either some of you or even one of you here needs to hear this for the month of May, and I get the messages that are most needed. So, moving on. Love for some others here. Very different set of cards. Very different set of cards with coffee. Now, here, you personally keep coming back to someone. Why? Why do you keep coming back to someone who keeps hurting you so much? Like, so much. Not like this other person who is trying to figure their own stuff out for someone else. This is a completely different matter. This person is just an a-hole, and they are hurting you. Why? Because they can't deal with their own stuff. They just want to pretend it doesn't exist, and they don't care. They act selfishly. I'm sorry to say it. Now, here, the Knight of Swords, the rushing in, okay? This is almost the sense of you rushing in, almost at a beck and call of something. You love this person. There is strong connection to this person. Yet this person uses that wonderful, that pure thing that you are offering as a way of boosting their ego. You are not a puppet on a string. The Nine of Wands here. This is this taking something back again, to find that perhaps even, once again specifically though, but perhaps even you are not the only person who I say he, I shouldn't say that. It might be a she, it may be either, or any, whatever. But this person, has done. So, now, the Eight of Wands here is this form of fighting back. What may provoke this all of a sudden, this strength within you, this realization, something here in this form. And this is why I said with others. Here, there is this. Now, it doesn't normally mean, because there are three people in this card, it's who think, oh, there's another person. No, not usually. However, in this case, it may be. So if you are genuinely unhappy about a relationship and you know it deep down, okay, and this sounds like you, be mindful of things that may come. Now, that's not a doom and gloom because of this card. It feels it and it's dark. There are always dark times, and people who ever see them never wish to. But dark times, they pass. And usually we come through stronger because we have weathered them. This is a journey to freedom from something. You need to be proven something in your heart, deep in your emotions, about someone here, to finally break away. It's not all doom and gloom for Geminis. Of course it isn't. This is good. Now, on the other hand, if you are looking for love, you may almost feel as though you want to give up. You may feel like everything, there is pressure on everything right now. Especially now we have such, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, we have such beautiful weather. And at this time of year, you want to share it with someone. It's the same as in the winter, to be honest. People are always looking for someone to either cozy up with or to hold hands, walk to the park with. These things. When people are alone, when they are single, there are those times where they may miss that aspect of something that kind of triggers that feeling. Because after all, we're all just animals. Now, the Five of Wheels is that feeling. Looking for love, choosing love here is what May will bring, the month of May will bring. Now, however, in this instance, the Ten of Wands here, having the hands full when it comes to choices and previous experience can jeopardize what you are walking into in terms of love within May. What does this mean? Well, try not to compare, okay? Try to remain open to what may be happening here, because as far as love goes, this card is beautiful. The banner, the Ace of Wands, the red ribbon here wrapped like around this is almost the banner which means love, that means romance. The chicken or the cockerel here, the golden cockerel, this is a form of prosperity, okay? It is prosperity, it is a very lucky sort of thing, and it's a powerful symbol, okay? So do not let things that you may be holding on to jeopardize this. This may be a good time to work on those things on the self. Temperance. Making choices for your greater good. Feeding the light, not the shadow. We must live with the shadow because we are balanced creatures. Well, most of us. But it doesn't mean we have to feed them both equally at the same time always. Feeding what is best for us, feeding the good in us, usually means after time we will make decisions for our own good because we become used to it. We kind of get programmed to that. And that's something that takes practice. It's not something that in this day and age we do generally. Okay? So that's for Gemini. That was a long old one for Gemini, wasn't it? Well, now we're going to move on to Libra. Okay, so Libra, let's have a look for you guys, you librarians. You're not called librarians collectively, but if you were, that would be wonderful. And maybe you are. Maybe I was wrong. That'd be really brilliant, but no. So, what was I saying? Career for Libra. Okay. If I can shuffle it. So, career-wise, Libras, what do we have? So, we have the same card popping up here, but very different context, which is the Five of Cups. Why is this? In terms of being established, there is much here. There is a form of stubborn energy to this. Yet there is this confidence. There is accomplishments here. I said that very American. Accomplishments here. This is a good one. This is kind of the relaxed, the achievement of the self, Okay, that intuitive, being kind of in tune with these things when it comes to success as well. And this is this kind of very busy kind of business head of, you know, getting things done, very prudent. Now, both of them kind of scream success here. They scream established, perhaps comfort. Now, not success as in like billionaire success necessarily. No, but these other two cards that come with them. This is odd because it's almost as though that you're thinking of breaking away from it. There's everything here to break away from, but you're thinking of breaking away from it. Why? There's this feeling almost to like move on. The journey, an adventure, something else is calling. And incredibly brave. An incredibly brave thing to do. Especially in this day and age right now. Incredibly brave. But why? What's going on here? There is strength. What's the answer to it? There is money. Okay. So, strength-wise, to have courage to obtain this, the money of the mind, the money that you hold, the money that you rely on or earn in that sense. Now, to have strength to even break away from this because of your current situation, although you are, in other words, with these cards here, it's sort of saying you're getting by. And part of your mind is like, well, other people have it a lot worse. And the other part of your brain is like, yeah, but I want more. I deserve more. And I'm going to go out and find it. And the other part of your brain is like, no, don't do that. Don't ruin everything. Well, in this instance, I think that other part of your brain that is saying I deserve more is right here. This is a good time for it, it seems. Okay? There we go. I mean, the Fool. He's got his bag packed. He's got his dog at his side. He's got the sun on his back. Now, many people don't realize that this here, this isn't a drop. Okay? This isn't him about to kind of be like, oh no. No. This means that his faith here, this guy's faith in his ability to just leap across, to float, to fly. He carries on walking, not because he doesn't see it. He carries on walking because it doesn't faze him. Okay? A great card. A card of new beginnings in many ways in that sense, as long as you follow that kind of rhetoric of it. Fantastic. Now, I think that's just a message for the Libras in that sense. I'm sure there's others of you, but this is for a specific set because I want to move on to love here. All right? We're going to leave those there. You don't need to know those ones right now when it comes to love. Let's have a look. So, Libras, love, relationships, things like that. What's happening in the month of May? Okay, stuff to do with something to do with banks. Honestly, banks. Now, this one alone is nothing, and this one alone is nothing. But when you put them together, they are very much something to do with kind of financing and perhaps loans or payment plans or something along those lines to do with banking or accounts or something like that. All that boring stuff. Now, what do we have here? Well, before this, they were not together, but there are these kind of parts in between them that are different. You have the Page of Swords. Now, the Page of Swords here is almost this kind of getting ready for something. Okay? They're getting ready for something. The necessary requirements here are money that is needed to get ready for something. Now, I know this is for love, but bear with me. We're going to get there in a second. here we have the weighing up, the trying to keep sort of things balanced. And after that, kind of joining in with it is more of legal things, or even banking. Okay, so how does this apply to love for someone? Well, let's have a look. In a relationship, if you're in a relationship right now, you may be trying to get somewhere, trying to make plans, perhaps even buying property. Maybe that's why you need loans or mortgages or something like that. Okay. Now, however, it's been difficult between two of you, because oftentimes two of you, when it comes to this sort of thing, there may be problems. This is this kind of like every single thing is telling you that you're not meant to be doing it. That's that kind of thing. Each one of these swords falling from heaven almost, kind of trying to pin you down, saying, stop trying to go the wrong way. And being stubborn is kind of what human beings do in the majority. So we carry on, keep going. But here, there is this. Now, this is to do with someone else. This is to do with a partner. This is to do with someone who is more logical in the sense, someone who, although it seems as though they are being cynical, they may have ideas and they're trying to bring kind of like a calm, a peace to the situation. Okay? Don't fly off the handle if that is the case, because that may be that's the wrong card. I was like, why is that card there? Now, for some others of you, we're dealing with a partner here who is stubborn and almost jealous, but a different kind of jealous. They're not jealous of other people. They're not jealous of the relationship as such. You may be in a position of empowerment. You may be in a position of high status, or you may even just be basically being a boss at life right now. Okay? You may be confident where your partner is not. Okay? This is not your fault, so don't stop being a boss at life. I would never tell anyone to stop being a boss at life. But this is kind of like your progression, and they are still trying, and they are dealing with pains from things. Okay? And there is like this offering that they are shunning away from. You are almost offering to help them with what you're doing, and they don't want to take it. Now, this is pride in a sense, I suppose, rather than jealousy. I should say pride. But why? There's the world. There's everything there, as in fortunes, basically. I see. Okay, so something on I think my children put something on my head. And it gets a little bit long. It's like Velcro, and they're just like putting stuff to it. And I don't know. And they think it's really funny. Right. Anyways, so the world here, and then the Seven of Cups. Two fantastic things. There's this very go-getting sort of go-getter stuff here. The world is the possibilities and the opportunities and all the things that you can see for yourself and that you want for yourself. And yet here there is someone else who is stubborn, an inability, or even a refusal to move. They are not being fluid. They are being fixed and static out of pride, as I said before. Why? My advice here, leave them behind. That does not mean leave them in a relationship. It means leave them behind. They will eventually either have to catch up or live with being a butthead about it, and they will miss out. And the more you go on, the more you kind of keep steaming ahead here, the more they will see what they are missing, and it will eventually be one of those things like, I want to change now. I'm missing out on things and I want to change. So for that, in that case, fantastic. All right. Now, I'm going to leave it there for you, Libras, because I think the rest of you are doing fine in that sense. You librarians. Now, Aquarius. What cards would you like, Aquarius? Let's go mental and go with some different cards for you too. Now, so let's first look at career and jobs and finance and things like that. And let's hope it stays within that frame, because you can never tell. Sometimes it will run over into each other, because life isn't compartmentalized like that, is it, after all? So that's not for you. That's just me being a silly sausage. Right. So, oh, nice. So, Aquarius, this looks good. It looks promising for many of you, I feel. There's a very productive sort of energy. You may be getting a little bit more energy and sort of a kind of make it so sort of Captain Picard energy vibe going on here. Okay, so the passing on of a mantle, of a passion here. This can mean in a sense of promotion, or being given more responsibility in a form of employment, work, career, something like that. Even education, or if you are an educator. Now, here, it's kind of trippy. The castle sits on the cup here. There is this need almost to take pride, and there should be, in accomplishments, okay? But this is kind of like dreams, visions of the possibilities of where things can go. Being driven here it's what it's all about, and if you can try and kind of keep that ball going, you'll get there quicker. Now, the Knight of Cups here, this is about sort of taking your taking the blessings when they come, in this sense, looking for those things and thinking that's a blessing. That taking them, accepting these things that come to you gracefully. Don't second guess them. Don't think why was that. Don't think that. It's just good. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Just take it and then go, thank you very much, I appreciate it, and keep going. Okay, because all the while, these lovely things that may be happening, little things, but nevertheless, little kind of perks happening in this month, may be happening for you. There is this that you're doing at the same time. You're working bloody hard, you're working. And because you're trying to make something, like really, there's something that you're really gunning for here. Okay? Making choices within this kind of realm of how do I say it? Productivity, I suppose. Go-getter stuff, like making choices, being careful when it comes to forms of work here. This can often mean education. It can mean legalities, or study, or anything to do in forms of, the books here. This is kind of like paperwork and dedication towards learning or furtherment of something. So not just education, banking, stuff like that, legal matters, things like this, okay? Being careful when things like this are concerned for you, Aquarius, is really important, okay? Now, taking time to enjoy these things that happen, however, there's no, as I said before, don't look the gift horse in the mouth. Don't stand around saying, why is this happening to me? Are you sure? Is this right? Like, what am I supposed to do with this? Just take it, be gracious, say thank you, keep moving. But it doesn't mean that you can't relax. Now, this thing here, this card that gets me every time, is this person has everything that they could want, yet they were waiting for something else. Okay, I find that funny. They have so much that they get bored because there is nothing else to have in that sense. That sounds nice. I'd like to be that kind of bored. But, just like, well, I've accomplished everything. I'm rich and happy and successful in everything I've ever wanted to do. What's left for me to do? I don't know. I'm bored. But it's actually a bad thing. It really is. Because it's kind of like a sadness there. This taking for granted certain things. Okay, so this gratitude thing is coming into it again. But there are new things ahead, okay, that are coming, I'd say, near the end of March. There are new things going to be presenting themselves. And everything that you are doing, this kind of working towards something, is going to be for that reason, okay? So don't kind of get bogged down in the, oh, everything seems to be going good, everything's fine, but now, like, what's going to happen? Have faith in something that is coming, okay? Usually when we all get these moments where things just work, things are happening, and we're like, wow, like, anything I can do right now feels like I can just, like, there'll be something, I could throw, I have to think of the conversion because it's not British money. I'll throw a dime up in the air and it comes back down a quarter. That's bigger, isn't it? I don't know. I don't understand your money. Right. So that sounds right. Yeah. So there is that in that sense. Okay. So just run with that energy. Okay, Aquarius, if that's you, run with that energy. Now, love. Don't worry about those cards. Now, love. What do we have here for love for Aquarius? I have a feeling like there's this. Well, let's just see what the cards say first before I start getting in with all the intuitive bits of messages. Let's see what the cards say because, okay. Well, looking pretty good here. Now, when it comes to love, Aquarius here, there is victory in something. Okay, there is victory in something. Now, what this means is that there is confidence and you may be feeling kind of on top of the world when it comes to love. You may have been just come into a relationship. Now, this is important. Forget those. Here we have Cupid, we have love, okay? Here we have the devil, okay? The two, very different. But what came first was this one, okay? Then this one. Now, you may be excited. You may have a kind of, you see how this one kind of guides the other along. And the appetite, will, and then you have fidelity here. And then love at the top. The guiding of the dog is the loyalty and the intuition. There's another animal there, isn't there? I thought that was a goat, but apparently it's just their legs and it's the way it looks. Okay, but this is you. And you may be feeling like it's time to move things onto the next level because you're excited. The other person may not be feeling this way, okay? That is not to say that they won't ever, but right now, the physical kind of thing here and the situationship, if you want to call it that, is enough for them. If it's not enough for you, obviously that's something you have to address. But if you can be patient, I think you'll find that this person will eventually come round to this, okay? It's just that you're kind of excited and you're more in touch sensitively with your emotions in this relationship rather than this person is at the moment, okay? They're kind of a little bit scared. Many people get scared about things like that. They're not looking for love. Love all of a sudden or the prospect of love pops up and they're like, oh, no, I don't have feelings in that way. And then they think about it and they're like, oh, yeah, I do. So don't go declaring love off the cuff, and if you do, don't be hurt if someone doesn't do it in return in this sense. They will get round to it. You may have taken them by surprise and they may need to think about it. Or if that's the case, feel it, don't need to say it yet, okay? Now, for some others of you, Aquarius, where it comes to love, there is justice. Okay. So, if you have come out of a relationship fairly recently, shall I say, here the justice is almost someone taking something up in a way of like a separation. Okay. Now, why? Because here a beautiful card. I think it's such a nice card, this. But what it stands for still is it is a trickster card. The fox, cunning and wily, is trying to tempt down the dove to get a meal by using a false representation of the dove. The swords are the warning signs in that sense, and the dove trying to go. You had a near miss in that sense due to the separation. However, these things you must put behind you and surpass now. They must not be taken with you. There is this peace and serenity here that need to be kind of carried on, and what is left from perhaps a pain and even reflection of what things could have been done differently, they couldn't have been. If anything, this was the best outcome in that sense, because otherwise there could have been a lot more damage and other people, including you and someone else, could have got hurt. So don't ever look back and think that, maybe I could have done more. At the time, we're all just trying, we're all just getting by. Okay. Instead, carry on through, have this kind of practice self-love, but also there is love ahead. Okay. There is passion to be applied and to be given. Okay. That will be graciously accepted and shared and trusted and respected. Okay. Now, if you are looking for love in general as well, you may have been working on other aspects here. Okay. So this one, the Queen of Cups, she's like, well, what's in the cup? I don't know. But here, in this sense, I'll tell you what's in the cup. It's whatever you make it to be. Okay. So right now, in other words, I know that sounds really silly, but in other words, what's in the cup is what you make it, as in this time right now you can use. You can still look for love. You can be open and susceptible to love and, for when it comes, but at the same time, use that time to work on the self. We should always be working on the self. It is an ongoing process. It's not one of those things where it's like, work on the self a bit. Oh, I feel pretty good. I feel spiritually in tune. Now I'm going to go and completely undo everything that I just did, because that's what many people do. And it's not. It's one of those things that you work on the self and you continually try to bring the spiritual aspirations of yourself and what you want from them into your daily practice of just being a human being living a life. Here, there is a form of finding something, okay? There is something to be found in the way of relationships, in the way of love, memory. There may be a past relationship coming in here that was good, but wasn't the right timing, okay? This is something that will ignite certain passions in that sense. And because it is from the past, it may require then you to actually work on the self a little bit more before it happens. So that can also be a good indicator as to why you need to work on the self. And that is the love reading for Aquarius. But before you all go, I need to tell you that you have 3 signs, in case you weren't sure. So your sun sign is your personality, the overall self, who you grow up to be, okay? Who you are now in that sense. The moon is who you were as a child, your kind of pure self, the self that is hidden, the emotional self. Your rising is who you project yourself to be to others and how others see you as in social situations, usually your personality in that sense and that you project. So go and have a look and find out, if you don't know what those are, and have a look at those ones as well, because I've got them all there. Now, thank you for coming to my channel. I hope you have a blessed month, and I hope to see you in it. I hope to see, you know what I mean.